Today, Xbox released a Xbox Series X full demo walkthrough video. We had a chance to look at it, and I just want to go through and highlight it. It's about a 15-minute video, so you can check it out. I've left a link to the video in the description, but I did want to give my first impressions of it. I did want to react to it right away, and just show you talk a little bit about what was discussed and the highlights that I saw from this video. Summary, the TLDR, it looked awesome. It looked cool, and I'm more excited for the Series X than I've ever been. But before we jump into it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. We're the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. We're dropping videos every single day. We've got a podcast that drops every single week about all things Xbox. Make sure you tune in to us every Friday. Hit that notification bell to be informed when we go live here on YouTube. You can subscribe to our podcast over on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to the podcasts. Just search XoneBros, and you'll be able to find us there. Okay, so here are just some highlights from the demo and walkthrough that Xbox released today that really stood out to me. The first thing that stood out to me was dynamic backgrounds. We've seen this before. We've seen this when other people have previewed the Xbox and the Xbox dashboard. These moving backgrounds behind your dashboard, and they talked a little bit about dynamic backgrounds and that this is a new thing about it. They didn't go into too much detail, but I would imagine that with dynamic backgrounds, we're going to get multiple options that we can then use to customize our dashboard. I wonder, and I'm curious if over time we'll be able to create our own dynamic backgrounds and upload them. I think that would be something that would be super cool. You can do that on desktop. Indeed, my desktop has dynamic backgrounds and that I've created or that I use that others have created. And I think having that ability on the Xbox Series X would be cool regardless, though. Dynamic backgrounds are coming, and it looks cool, and it just adds that next level, that next generation feel to your dashboard. So I really like that. We got to see a lot of quick resume here. So they jumped into a couple games. They jumped into Gears 5, Dirt 5, and Subnautica. And in each instance, they showed off quick resume. Now, what quick resume does, we've heard a lot about this, but it was just cool to see it on the Series X in real time, in real life. You open up your game and you just immediately, and I mean immediately, take off where you last left your game. It's super cool. In a lot of the previews that have come out from the different gaming magazines and gaming websites and game reviewers, they talked a lot about loading screens, and you can see the difference. And a lot of people talked about how I don't think I could go back. They don't think they could go back to the Series X even because of the loading screens, right? Like loading times are so fast. That's the biggest difference that they notice. And you can see it here when they demo this quick resume ability and quick resume feature. How much better it is, how much quicker it is than what we currently have and are currently experiencing on the Xbox One X at the moment. They jumped in and played Gears 5, and what they focused on here, of course, was the frame rate. You know, you're getting 4K, 60, or 120. You get to choose. And then what they focused on was the textures. Now, he highlighted the textures and said, take a look. The textures here in Gears 5, optimized for the Series X, are the same textures that are used on the PC version, settings at Ultra. Right? Now, not every PC can play a game at Ultra, particularly Gears 5, which is pretty action-packed. You're going to have to spend a good amount of money to get a PC that plays that. You're going to really have to optimize it. That's the selling point for these next generation of consoles, particularly for the Series X, is that it's that convenient factor, right? For $500, you can get what is probably about $1,000 PC, I would imagine, at this point in time. It might even be a little bit more when you take into account the solid-state drive that they're using in that solid-state drive technology and the price that is at this moment. Regardless, the fact that on Gears 5, the textures are the same as the PC version at Ultra settings bodes well for next-generation games, and it's very exciting. In fact, it made me want to play Gears 5 again, right? Just to experience it in that kind of fidelity. Looks really, really good. They then jumped over to Dirt 5. Racing car games always look good. They pointed that out. But again, here they showed off the quick resume, how easy, how quickly it was to jump over. They then jumped over into a backwards compatibility game. And here's something that's really impressive. They jumped over to Subnautica and discussed a feature on the Series X and Series S in which backwards compatible games get auto HDR. Now, auto HDR adds HDR to games that weren't developed with HDR or HDR in mind. So you can play these backwards compatibility games now with HDR. And HDR is amazing. I really love HDR. What it does, It increases your brights, your darks. It gives you a more richer color dynamic within the game that you're playing. If you've not experienced HDR on a game, I mean, I highly recommend you go and try one out. Just go to a store, actually. And the store demos of TVs, those are HDRs, demos that you're seeing, right, on the TVs. That's why they look so good, so bright, they make you want to buy the TV. That's what's happening here with backwards compatibility games. And it's really cool. I think that's a super cool feature, a next-gen feature. So another reason to buy this, then, would be even if you plan on playing backwards compatible games, you're getting an upgraded version of that backwards compatible game that doesn't exist on current generation consoles. Very, very cool. Now, here's one of my favorite parts of the demo that they went over was the new wireless controller. Now, they talked about how it's slightly improved. The ergonomics are improved. They made it slightly smaller so that it fits in everyone's hand a little bit better. I mean, the wireless controller, the Xbox controller, in my mind, is the best gaming controller on the planet. It just fits well the way that the D-pad works, the joysticks are faced, the bumpers, the triggers, everything. It's almost perfection. They tried to perfect it a little bit more. They also are using the D-pad on the new wireless controllers that the Elite Series 2 has, right? So it's a slightly different D-pad. They've textured the grips. But the big one is the new media share button, right? This is a new button. This doesn't exist on current wireless controllers. It's the third button right there in the middle of the controller, in which if you tap it, it captures a screenshot while you're in game. Just a quick tap, boom, got the screenshot. If you hold it down, it will then clip and you can adjust the clip settings just like you can on current generation Xbox, and it will record a video clip of the game that you're playing. This is very, very cool. This is something that was needed. I have this on my Elite controller. A lot of people do, where they just use one of the paddles, make that a clip only. However, having this built in to the controller, to every controller, I think is taking the controller to the next generation level. And it's just this nice quality of life feature that I think was needed for a while, and we're finally getting it. Now, when he talked about sharing the screen clips and screen captures and pictures and whatever you take, he went over to his app. And we just got the app update on iOS and Android. It's now on every device to the Xbox app, and it's amazing. And this is going to be an integral part of the Xbox ecosystem. This to me further proves that what they're selling is not a console, they're selling an ecosystem. The console wars are essentially over. Xbox is about the ecosystem wars, and this app being an integral part of that ecosystem. So for instance, now if you want to share to social media, you no longer do that from within the dashboard. You just hop over to your app and you can share it wherever you want. You can download it. This makes it so easy to share your clips, apps to any social media that you have anywhere in the world. It's very, very exciting, and I like it. And again, I'm just going to repeat this. Just further proof that this is an ecosystem war. This is not a console war. I really want to underscore that. Because that's you can see where Microsoft is going with this, and the way that the app is integrated with the console and dashboard is just proof of that. Now, they did briefly go over Xbox Game Pass, and they just reviewed EA Play. We know that is coming on launch day. That's very exciting. They went over the store redesign. We've gone over that before. The store is much, much better. It's such a huge improvement. You can see it on your current Xbox One X. If you haven't headed over to the store, go ahead and do that and check it out. It's so much better than it was before, and that's coming to the new Series X as well, obviously. Then they talked about the new Seagate storage expansion slot, and they held it up. First of all, it's a cool piece of technology. It's super small. You just slide that bad boy in, and you get bonus SSD technology storage, right? And this enables you to have games stored on that SSD memory card, that memory slot, and it can run at the same speeds as the internal NVMe storage that is inside the Xbox Series X. Now, they did clarify this, and I think this is important to clarify again and again and again, just so that people are aware of it. You can also use just a normal USB hard drive that you currently have, connect it, and play. And they talked about backwards compat games. That makes the most sense, actually. I never had thought about that before. But they talked about keeping your backwards compatible games always on your hard drive, and then transferring current generation games over to the SSD to unlock the fully optimized versions of the game for the Series X. Overall, they use the tagline higher frame rates, faster load times, and richer, more dynamic worlds. They said this at the beginning, they said this at the end, and that seems to be the tagline for the Series X. It's very exciting. Again, if you haven't seen this link is in the description below. It's about a 15-minute video. I went over the highlights there. We basically covered it all, but this makes me more excited. It's just nice. It's getting close. Here we go. We're going to see more of these reveals. We're going to see more of these unveils. We're going to see next generation gameplay. I think we're going to also see new IPs coming, right? I think that's going to be a thing, and new IPs announced. Regardless, the hype is real. It's coming November 10th. I cannot wait. Series X, here we go. I want to know what you guys think. What did you guys think of this review? What are you most excited for? What stood out to you the most about this demo and this walkthrough? Let me know in the comments below. Again, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. We're the X1 Bros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community, and I will see you guys next time.